Chapter 1. Drew. I restacked the coasters for what had to be the fifth time, each one aligning with the last with precise neatness. Avoiding River's perceptive gaze was becoming a full-time job in itself. Spoiler alert, having your boss as a friend is great when you're dishing out the advice, not so much when you're on the receiving end. I moved on to the pre-cut fruit for the cocktails, inspecting each piece and ensuring they weren't cut too big or too small. "So, Drew," Rivers said, coming up to the bar as if he hadn't been staring at me from afar for the last hour. "How are the preparations going for tomorrow's fundraiser?" The fundraiser for the Starfinders Foundation. The foundation I'd started with my best friend and foster brother, West. I remember exactly when West came out and said that kids in foster care deserved the same opportunities as all the kids with moms and dads. He would make sure it happened. It had been a big dream, but we'd done it together. And now our dream was no longer something we organized from the small kitchen in our apartment. We'd moved our headquarters to the old hospital building where we were working to function as an emergency shelter and community center for kids in foster care, kids from less privileged backgrounds and anyone who needed a little help. I exhaled slowly, finally meeting his eyes. "Honestly, I'm freaking out a little." River's brow furrowed with concern. "What's on your mind?" "It's just..." I paused, struggling to articulate the tangle of emotions. "The auction. Being up there on display like some piece of meat. What if no one bids? Or worse, what if someone does and I have to go on some awkward date?" River's eyes widened. "I thought the auction was for skills. You're doing cocktail classes, right?" "Yeah, but..." I felt heat rise in my cheeks. "What if..." I lowered my voice, leaning in. "What if West bids on me?" Understanding dawned in River's eyes. A few weeks ago, I'd unwittingly confessed to him how I felt about West. "Ah, and how would you feel about that?" My heart raced at the mere thought. Terrified? Elated? A jumbled mess of everything in between? I ran a hand through my hair, mussing it further. "God, River, it's getting harder and harder to pretend I don't have anything but best friend feelings for Wes. You're offering cocktail classes. How much trouble can you get into doing that?" I raised a brow. "As much trouble as you can get into when your jilted best friend and the man you have feelings for moves into your place," I said, referring to River's best friend Adam, who he was totally in love with. River raised his hands and chuckled softly. "Drew, have you considered that maybe West is struggling with similar feelings?" I blinked, caught off guard. "What? No way. He's always so..." "No, he's never given me any hints." "Have you ever given him any hints?" He had a point. I'd hidden my attraction to West from the moment I felt anything but brotherly love, and as my feelings grew, I'd become better at avoiding them. "Maybe this auction is an opportunity for both of you to be honest about what you want," River suggested. I mulled over his thoughts, a glimmer of hope flickering to life. "You really think so?" He reached across the bar, giving my arm a reassuring squeeze. "Whatever happens tomorrow, just be yourself. That's more than enough." I managed a small smile, feeling some of the weight lift from my shoulders. "Thanks, River. I guess it's my turn to put my money where my mouth is." "What do you mean?" "You and Adam. I said I'd tell West how I feel about him if you did the same with Adam." River's eyebrows shot up and his eyes widened. I chuckled. "Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. But the next time he comes here while you're working, you might want to tell him to stop undressing you with his eyes." It was his turn to laugh. "I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself. Adam and we're still figuring things out. I got your back, man." As we fell into easier conversation, I found myself wondering if maybe, just maybe, this auction would be the push West and I needed to finally take that leap. By the time I went home, I was starting to look forward to the big event tomorrow instead of dreading it. I pushed open the front door, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee inviting me in. Typical. West was in full-on preparation mode. "I'm home," I called out. No response. I kicked off my shoes and padded toward the living room, following the trail of papers strewn across the floor. There he was, Weston Hart in all his glory, surrounded by a sea of donor lists, to-do lists, and lists of to-do lists, his curly brown hair sticking up in all directions as he hunched over his laptop.